This just in, Tuck is not coming. The Michigan Wolverines defeated the Michigan State Spartans 29-7, and the only thing that MSU fans could cling on to for the last couple of years, Mel Tucker being 2-0 over Jim Harbaugh, is over. This game got ugly for the Spartans, both on and off the field. Michigan State got the ball first and was able to move the ball close to midfield, but that drive was derailed by penalties. After the punt, Michigan was marching down the field when Cornelius Johnson fumbled, so neither team was able to put up points on their opening possessions. The Spartans went for a 4th and 1 on their own 46-yard line, and initially it was ruled a first down, but it was clear that Elijah Collins never made the line to gain. Michigan was able to get points on the drive that started in MSU territory, but unfortunately, it was only a Jake Moody field goal. Then it was the Comin show. A 29-yard catch and a 26-yard touchdown reception put the Spartans up 7-3. Michigan's next drive included a couple big receptions from Luke Schoonmaker and finished with a Blake Corum touchdown. Coleman continued his impressive first half on the Spartans' next drive. He had 2 big receptions, and Michigan State ended up getting down to the Michigan 5-yard line. Mel Tucker decided not to kick the game-tying field goal and instead went for it on 4th and 1 from the 5-yard line, a decision which I think was probably the right one. A road game, a rivalry, your team has been struggling on offense all season. You get down to the 5-yard line, you just have to get 1 yard, and then you get a fresh set of downs inside the 5. I think it was the right call. Having said that, Michigan stuffed the run and got the ball back. A 6-minute and 23-second drive ended with another Jake Moody field goal, and then Mike Morris and Mozzie Smith combined for a sack to end the half. So Michigan was up 13-7 at the half, and it felt like the lead should have been bigger, but they had to settle for a couple of field goals. Plus Cornelius Johnson had that fumble on Michigan's first drive. And the Wolverines needed to find some kind of answer for Keon Coleman because he was hurting them in the passing game. After the half, Michigan had another nearly 6-minute drive that ended with a field goal. Going up by 2 scores gave Michigan some breathing room, but we'd rather Jake Moody be kicking extra points than kicking field goals. The next 2 drives for Michigan, you guessed it, Jake Moody field goals. The next 2 drives for Michigan State, 3 and outs. So Michigan had a comfortable lead at 22-7, and then, in poetic fashion, Michigan State had trouble with the snap, and Michigan tackled the MSU punter at the 8-yard line. Add another Blake Corum touchdown on, and this game was over. Final score, Michigan 29, Michigan State 7. In the battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy, Michigan had 27 first downs to Michigan State's 11, 443 total yards to 252. Passing yards, Michigan State had the edge, 215 to 167, but rushing yards, it was all Michigan, 276 to 37. And yet another game where Michigan dominates the time of possession, 40 minutes and 33 seconds to 19-27. They doubled up the Spartans. Really the only bright spot in this game for Michigan State was Keon Coleman, who had 5 catches for 155 yards, averaging 31 yards a catch, and a touchdown. For Michigan, J.J. McCarthy didn't have to do much again. He was an efficient 15 for 25, 167 yards and a touchdown. He also added 50 yards rushing. But the real star for Michigan, once again, Blake Corum, 33 carries, 177 yards and a touchdown. Luke Schoonmaker had 5 catches for 70 yards. Ronnie Bell, 4 for 53. Junior Colson had 10 tackles. And Rod Moore had a nice interception on Michigan State's last drive. My top takeaways from the game, Michigan has a great kicker. Jake Moody was 5 for 5 on field goal attempts, but the offense stalls out in the red zone a little too often. That didn't cause any problems against Michigan State, but it could definitely cause problems against a team that can score a lot more points, namely a team that plays in Columbus, Ohio. Another takeaway is that Blake Corum is a legit Heisman Trophy candidate. For the season, Blake has 1,078 yards on 179 carries and 14 touchdowns. Also, this defense could be better than last year's, which I didn't anticipate myself saying, especially after losing the defensive coordinator, Aiden Hutchinson, and David Ojabo, and Daxton Hill. The pass rush has been super effective. Junior Colson is a stud in the middle, and the secondary has played great football. Another major takeaway is that Michigan State's stock is falling. The performance on the field has not been good this season, and some altercations happened in the tunnel that are also not good for Michigan State and Mel Tucker, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. Up next is a trip to Rutgers for a night game. Let's hope that the Wolverines are a little more dominant in this game than they have been in the last 2 against Rutgers. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, go blue.